Hello Blues, happy Monday. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. Well, this is new for us on a Monday night. We obviously had to discuss the game against Port Vale before we jump into the mammoth game, the semi-final against the old enemy, Man United, tomorrow night at Old Trafford. I am so excited, and so are the lads too. You got myself, Tom, City Dave and Dan Fielding. We go into great detail about the Port Vale game, where we thought Phil Foden ran the show. We also talk about John Stones and his solid performance, and also talk a little bit about the John Stones and Pope spat, as well as go into detail about Bravo and why we think he's going to play tomorrow against United. We talk about the game tomorrow. God, what a game it's going to be! I'm so excited, but I'm really nervous. We talk about the possible team selections, the teams that we would pick, and we also discuss in great detail about a City legend of the past decade, Zabaleta. We hope you enjoy the show. Please leave us a review where you can, and thanks very much, and have a great night. Come on, City! Welcome, lads, to the Manchester's Blue Show. It's good to see the two of you again.
How do?
Good to be here.
So we jump straight into the future City captain and all-round Port Vale hero, Phil Foden. 1 goal, 1 assist.
Very good. I'm surprised that a lot of people are saying that he actually didn't have the greatest game, because every review that I have read has put him as man of the match, either giving him a 7.5, 8. I think a couple have even given him a 9 out of 10. That I don't think you can expect much more, really, but I'd be interested to know why. Please, fans on the page, please tell us why some of you think that he didn't have a great game at the weekend. I'd love to know.
That just goes to show how high of an esteem people are putting him in at the moment, and how much people. So that's what I think, anyway. Is how much people rate him. He can have games like that every week, as far as I'm concerned, and still get a goal and an assist.
We've got to be careful, though, haven't we? Because he's only 19, and if he has a bad game against Port Vale, not hardly anybody's going to turn out and do a world-class performance at it. And 19, and everyone's slating him for not having those games he's been having. He deserves a rest. He's done all right for what he's done, hasn't he?
Yeah, agreed.
He's done really well. Was he your man of the match, lads?
I'll have to go with John Stones for putting up with that bloody tweet. God. Then the whole game was focused around that, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, actually wasn't his fault for the goal.
No, it wasn't.
Either. It wasn't Stones' fault. So I kind of agreeing with Dan, really, that all that stuff going on in his head as well, which Pope has now said, if I was playing against him, now it'd be 50 a season, not 40. I think Stones actually had a decent game.
Yeah, he didn't do too bad, did he? He definitely wasn't at fault. There's no question there. But the game is always going to be around him. And that tweet from, was it November, December, whenever it was?
Last year.
When it all came into account, was it Pope put it out there like 3 or 4 years ago or something? Ridiculous to try and harp that back now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all, if he was going to score, fair play to him. It was a great header.
It was a good header.
I'll say it again, and I said it last week. Isn't our goalkeeper short?
Yeah.
Juric would have got that.
Van Tillerman would have struggled.
I think a taller goalkeeper would have got his hands to that. But never mind. Anyway, good finish. Fair play to the lad. Good luck to your career and all the rest of it, Pope. We're not going to hear from him again for a while, so let's see how he goes. But I thought John Stones did all right. I think he needs to, though. He needs more games, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's the one thing that's lacking from his game. Well, one thing lacking from his career at the moment is game time, and I think that's the only reason everybody sort of, when I put that post out about when me and Dave discussed about whether he'd probably be preferred in a more defensive midfield role, everyone was just slating us for having that sort of opinion. So get him out the club. You can't really say that because he's been injured for the majority of it. He's still only 25. That's nothing for a centre back nowadays. Absolutely nothing. He's got another 10 years if he stays fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was 230, 250 comments, and I was surprised at how many people kind of want him out of the club. And this was a Guardiola buy. This wasn't a Pellegrini buy. I can't see Guardiola doing that. I still think he sees something in Stones that he can work with and make him the player that we all know and hope that Stones can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm conscious about making this another John Stones podcast again because we pretty much went from slating him to loving him to give him some time last week, and I think we're going to go for the same again. But one point that you wanted to raise, Dave, from last week is we need to talk about what we discussed as Stones
Yeah.
they need to play with a world class centre back next to them. We've said I think this stemmed from having like saying Garcia. We should have a world class centre back playing next to him, and then we came back to actually John Stones and Otamendi are really good defenders. They are international defenders. Are they not the world class caliber that we should be playing against? And to answer your question, what a bloody good point that is. If you're looking for a young lad to play up against another player, actually sticking back next to an international footballer, that should be all he needs, not the Vincent Kompanies or the whoever's of the world.
Exactly, and that was my point. That I don't think we should be saying, and I don't think Stones or Otamendi would, and I'm sure they read this stuff, but makes them very happy either. That all they ever read is that, they play well if they have company or Laporte next to them.
Yeah.
This is Otamendi with I think he's over 50 caps for Argentina now, who are historically very, very good defenders. And Stones, I think he's on 39 caps for England now. You shouldn't be saying, he'll only play well if Laporte or company are next to him. It's somewhat of an insult to them, and I just absolutely don't think it's true. You don't pay 47 million for a player and then go, he's only going to play well when there's a better player next to him.
Yeah.
What did we pay for Otamendi? 27 million or something from Valencia?
Yeah. About 32 million, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is a seasoned international, and I think it's doing those two players a real disservice when we're saying, yeah, they're okay, but they're only good when they're playing with a better player than them. That's effectively saying, well, I'm not great at football, but if you put me next to Laporte, I'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I suppose that's the same for any of us, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Howard Bellis' performance?
I think he's a biggie for the future. I think this is going to be the same again, that Foden's gone through the last couple of years of really getting that game time, but he's shown again that he's ready, and it's how much time Pep is prepared to give him over the next few years.
So important, yeah.
What the big thing is now is, and I've said this to you lads on our private little chats a few times, this is going to be very telling the next transfer window. I don't think we're going to buy anyone in January, but this summer, if we go out and buy a playmaking midfielder, what does that say to Stones? If we go out and buy another centre half, what does that say to Garcia and Harwood Bellis? So I think it's going to be really interesting what happens over the next few months with that, because I think what a lot of fans want to see is let's push Garcia and Harwood Bellis. They're our future, rather than going spending 60, 70, 80, 90 million on a player, which if Guardiola sticks around, which hopefully he will, we see now that it takes 2 seasons for a player to get up to what Guardiola wants. We're not going to get that instant fix. So why not work with Bellis and Garcia and get them to be, I said the other day that Garcia, in my opinion, could be our John Terry. He could be there for the next 15 years and cement that position as a central defender for us. Kind of the same with Bellis. So why go out and spend a load of money?
We've got a very tough balancing act to play here, because I thought Harwood Bellis played well. I thought he looked really focused and determined. I thought he was good positioning. He has generally got a lot of quality, and he will hopefully, with enough game time, be a starter for City in future days. But the problem I've got, and the problem Pep's got, is Pep's a winner with potentially funds available, and he wants to win the Premier League next year. For me, with Harwood Bellis in the squad, Pep will be thinking, I've got less chance of winning the Premier League next year, so I'm going to go and spend X amount to get somebody who's better than him, that's got a better chance of having a stronger squad. Does that make sense? So it's a tough balancing act, that.
The history's there, though, isn't it? The first season he had that, you could argue, disastrous season, considering the funds available to him that season. But the thing with Pep is exactly what you said. He highlights exactly the key areas that he's lacking, and the second season was fullbacks. He went out and bought Mendy, albeit being injured majority, and Walker, and that transformed our back line. We had an ageing squad, and he knocked that right down, and it worked. And our main problem right now is centre defence. But that said, I don't see Otamendi next summer. I think he's on his end. Stones for me depends on the rest of this season. I still think he'll probably be here next season, but it really depends on if he sort of sorts his physical state out and his personal life as well. He's had a lot of personal issues as well. I think sort of drifting him away from football. I think he needs to get them under wraps. But I can see instantly when Laporte gets back from injury full time, Fernandinho being that makeshift fill-in void between the defensive midfielder and the centre-back role. And again, that depends on whether he leaves in the summer. But Garcia being our main man next to Laporte from the rest of the season when Laporte's back, it's going to be telling the summer. But as much as I'd love the fact that Howard Bellis and the likes of Tommy Doyle starting to get games as well now, the history is there that Guardiola, and I hate to say it because we all say he's the greatest manager in the world, he does go out and buys players at extortionate amounts, not to the likes of Man United, 80 odd to 100 odd million, similar things like that. But he does spend in the key areas we're lacking. And I think these young lads, like I say, Garcia is going to have to push himself. But Howard Bellis, I think he's not this season, probably not even next season. But if he wants to be in here with pre-season times, he's got to really work his backside off.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting Tixie and Pep to go and spend money in the summer and get a defender. We have to. We have to. Let's face it. If we lose Laporte again at the beginning of the next season, we're going to be back in square one, and there's no way the management at City would accept that. Absolutely no way, because no one's good enough in the City team to do that. So let's face it. City are going to go out there, and City are already identifying who that defender is. Who it is, I don't know. I know who you want it to be, Dave. Dan. Let's face it, and he looks all right, doesn't he? But I really, we've got to all put our hands up and say, we want to win the Premier League next year. Can we win the Premier League with the defence we've got next year? If everyone stays fit, damn good chance. But this is City. The training our lads go through, we seem to pick up injuries left, right, and centre. So we're going to go out and buy another defender. I'm absolutely sure of that. And if we don't, I will be amazed. I think Fernandinho will stay. I think he'll sign it. I think he'll sign for another year.
He is in talks. Yeah, he is in talks for a contract extension. How far that's got, but yeah, he's in quite deep talks about it. And of course, all of us want him to stay. If we didn't have him this season, we would not even be in the top four. I don't think he's been a massive saviour to this team this year.
Mm-hmm. He's done fantastically well, hasn't he? Yeah. Is there any other areas that you two would strengthen for next season?
Striker. I really, really think that we need a different option up front when plan A and B aren't working. The pass. I keep harping on about it, but I still think that we need that plan C where we've got a bit of height up front and, God, I'd love a Lewandowski or Dzeko back or something like that to offer something different when our usual game isn't working. And that's what we've seen time and time again this season, that because we're not pressing as hard as what we've done the previous two seasons, teams are coming on to us. We need something different to counter that. And I think that's with another striker. I love Jesus. Of course, I love Aguero, but it would be nice to have something different up front. Just, Tom, to your point, to be honest, about central defence, even if we're going to buy someone that's not potentially a starter, at least having them there, what's to say that Aguero doesn't get injured again?
Yeah.
Because he is quite injury prone. Jesus' form is, in and out sometimes. If he's sick or if he's injured, then we literally have no striker. Because I don't call Sterling a striker. I call him he's a winger, really. He's a Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
So... Definitely for me, I agree with what you're saying. We should get a centre-back simply because if we have the problems that we've had this year. But the other area for me would definitely be if we're going to replace Zane, if he goes to Bayern Munich, and then definitely a striker.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, pal. I really can't. Are we exhausted our Port Vale chat? Are we ready to move on to the elephant in the room? Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. City have won 6 of the last 9 away games at United in all competitions. How are we feeling?
I'm confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan?
Well, my score predictions prove how confident I am, but for me, it's still the fact that it's the only thing that can really realistically go out and win. You know, the FA Cup's still got too many good teams to play. You know, the League Cup, United, we're really the only liable threat to United and winning the League Cup. And you can say the League Cup's the lowest of the low of all the trophies. United are going to go for it all guns blazing.
But
You know,
still
apart
tough,
from
isn't
top
it?
four.
Still
Yeah,
tough.
they've got to.
Can I just read that stat out again? City have won 6 of the last 9 away games at United in all competitions. That's
Well, about 20
1-6.
years, you would never say that, would you?
Absolutely not. 1-6, drawn 1, and lost 1. That's phenomenal.
Mm.
That's brilliant. And that gauges with what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said the other day about City have raised the bar under Pep, and something for United to aim for. That's brilliant. He can say more of that for me. But it's we need to prove that tomorrow night. There's no two ways about that, because United are going to be well up for this.
Yeah.
I see.
Absolutely well up for this.
I think we will. I think
Yeah.
that was. I think we're not going to play. I don't think we're going to play as badly as we did in last month. And secondly, I don't think United are going to get to that standard as well. I mean, we all admitted on that podcast after the derby that they were the much better team. They were at us. They defended. They put their lives on the line, for every ball that came in that box. They just were at the races that day, and I think we'll have learned from that. Pep will not accept another performance like that, and I fully expect us to go there tomorrow and get a good result to bring back to Etihad, and I think we'll batter them at the Etihad.
I certainly hope so. Since losing 1-0 to United in the 4th round in October 2016, City are unbeaten in the last 15 EFL Cup matches. That's phenomenal. That's a really good positive record for us. 1-11, drawn 4. That's phenomenal. That record is brilliant. You look at that as United fan, think, oh bloody hell, that's not good. Especially that result at Old Trafford as well. We've got to be up for this tomorrow. We've got to be absolutely pumping. Those players are going to need to be absolutely coiled up like springs, ready to go onto that pitch.
Yeah,
I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
If you look at the players that we rested as well, then at the weekend, I think Pep does realise this is our best chance of silverware, to Dan's point, this season. And I think we'll really, really go for it. I think De Bruyne is by far the best player in the league right now. We wrapped him in cotton wool this weekend. I think he'll be back firing tomorrow night, and he will be if they play him in the right position, as we've talked about before, I think he'll demolish them tomorrow night.
The De Bruyne show.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we were saying on the last podcast, whichever De Bruyne turns up is how we play. Yeah. Whether we like it or not, we don't like being a one-man team, but it is true. Whichever one he turns up.
Absolutely true.
I've got a question for you. It's hard for me to say this. We all know how much I love David Silva. Do you think he'll play? Do you think he'll start?
No.
It'll be, for me...
I don't either.
For me, it'll be Rodri, Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne in that central mid.
Okay.
Just, he's, as much as I hate to say it, like you say as well, he's past it almost. It's horrible to say. He still is a phenomenal footballer. He really is a cut above most in the Premier League, but he's not what he was at all. Not this season anyway.
Do you not think Gundogan will start tomorrow then?
It's going to be too fast paced for the likes of Gundogan. Rodri didn't play against Port Vale. Bernardo Silva didn't he?
I'm not sure.
Start. But if Gundogan starts, I have really bad feeling about it, because as much as he's played better recently than he has at the start of the season, he's just not for me. He really is. Obviously, I'm not Guardiola. I don't choose the lineup, but I'm sure he's listening to that. He's getting a few tips, but if we're going to absolutely batter United and go all guns blazing, Gundogan shouldn't start. We need to get a fast, energised, paced team.
just have Rodri as that block to mop everything up and then keep the ball moving.
He needs to set it up exactly how he played in the last Premier League match, where Rodri was cutting back to fill in the void between Garcia and Fernandinho, just to make it sort of like a back five when United come on the attack. Because when they come on the attack, they're going to have Rashford and Martial definitely playing. That James lad, whoever he is, that is three absolutely world-class sprinters. I'm not on about footballers because right now they couldn't hit a barn door. And Martial can't even score on a raffle for Christ's sake. So we don't have to worry about any of that.
Why do you say these things?
Don't say that, Dan.
Why do you say these things?
It's going to be 6-0, 6-1.
God.
It's just as long as we hold them three off, they're not going to score for me.
Yeah, and Bernardo did start the weekend, Dan. You are right.
He did. Right.
Came off for Mahrez, didn't he? Mahrez?
Yeah.
Did.
I do agree with Dan, though. We need that. We need the younger energy tomorrow, and I bet a Foden, a Harwood Bellis, and certainly a Tommy Doyle are chomping at the bit to play at Old Trafford tomorrow night.
I got some good news for you. Bravo's going to be in net, so it's going to be a good game.
Oh.
Do we know for sure?
No, he will be. He will be because it's the cup. He will be. He will be. Pep won't drop him. It's the cup. He will. The only positive I've got in my mind is this is the game. Are you ready for this one? This is the game where Raheem Sterling is going to have an absolute worldie. I've not been impressed with him in the last month. I hold my hands up. And I'm waiting because he's been man-marked out the absolute game. United are going to come at us, all guns blazing, leave room in for Sterling. And I'm hoping he can use his turbo boost and his scoring prowess. And I'm really hoping tomorrow night it's the Raheem Sterling show alongside Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling turn up. United are going to be absolutely petrified. They've not got anyone like us, have they?
No, I agree with that. And to go back to Sterling, what the big problem for me is right now, I've simply not seen him take it past a player.
Yeah, exactly.
In 2 or 3 months. Now, to your point, Tom, get those turbo boosters on and running onto a ball, which is where he's got his goals recently.
Yeah.
Then fair enough. I mean, yes, he scored 2 against Wolves. I still think he had a poor game, really. I don't know what's happened, but I don't know if it's a little bit of pace he's missed somewhere or something, but the guy can't take it past a player. I mean, he always gets tackled, so he's always looking up now, trying to pass the ball and do the 1-2 and then get into space. I mean, and you've said many times now about Zane. That's something that Zane has always been very good at, is beating the man and getting past them. And my God, do we miss that?
Yeah, we do. Rafa. Raheem's got a good history in the EFL Cup. He's got 14. Let me have a look here. Since the start of the 2013-14 season, Sterling has been involved in more EFL goals than any other player. 6 assists, 8 goals. It's not bad. 6 assists and 8 goals, so 14 in total. It's not that many games in it, even if you think about it. There's not that many games in the cup anyway. It's not like the FA Cup where you have a couple more games, but so yeah, I'm hoping he brings out his A game tomorrow, and I think if he does, United will be absolutely petrified.
Agreed. And again, I sound like a broken record. I think we will raise our game tomorrow. I think that was a one-off in the derby. They played us off the field. They were so much better than us. I don't think that's going to happen again. I think we will take it to them tomorrow. Do
you think Sergio will start?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know? I think he will. I think he's been primed for this game.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'd be going for a Sterling, Jesus, Mahrez forward three with that midfield. I said.
The only reason I think Sergio will start is he had a good 90 minutes against Port Vale.
That's the only reason he's not starting.
Get him up to match fitness, and bring him into United. Ian loves playing against United.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm nervous thinking about it. I don't want to say anything to jinx us.
I know what you're saying, Dan. That he played the whole game. I get it. we can never work out Pep. You know, he's been there 3 years now, and no one can ever work out what team that he's going to put out. But
Think about us. Poor Tom's been putting a fantasy football team out every month. I wonder where he is in there.
I've taken him out. I've taken Sergio out. Can't afford to keep him in.
No,
I just mean in the team in general.
The only City players I've got in are Kevin De Bruyne and Mahrez. Pep's love childs. Never going to drop either of them for the league anyway.
well, or Gundogan as well is as Dan has said on a number of occasions. He is a big favourite with Pep this season. So don't be surprised if Gundogan actually does start tomorrow, even though it drives us nuts about what formation we should have, and you know, having that energy and speed on the field. Pep's just going to pick his own team, and even though I think Dan's right that Aguero played all 90 minutes against Port Vale, surely he's going to get a rest on Tuesday. God.
Right, come on then. Let's try and put the team together then. We've got Bravo in there. Who's your 4 defenders?
Walker. I mean, I'm going for the strongest team tomorrow.
So
Walker, agreed.
That's Cancelo then. Not Walker. What do you think about that? Cancelo's better than Walker, isn't he?
I'm not impressed with Cancelo at all. If I'm honest with you,
Walker belt against them United. No, we'll stick with Walker. We're happy with Walker.
I would go with Walker.
Okay, yeah. Walker. Yeah, go on then. Who's the centre backs? Nando and Garcia.
That's who I'd go for.
Me too. Dan.
I'd say Nando and Otter.
Ooh.
Otter's not a bad shout because I mean he had a good game last time that he played them and came on. But is he fit? Because he wasn't even on the subs bench at the weekend.
Good point.
I don't think he's got any injury or illness or anything like that. I think he was just dropped from the team. Nothing's being mentioned about it as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, then Otamendi.
I am, yeah. Fernandinho and Otamendi.
Dave, are you going for Otamendi or Garcia? Not who you want, who you think. I know who
I think. I think it's going to be Otamendi.
All right, cool. And left back? Mendy. It's got to be Mendy. Got to be Mendy, hasn't it?
Angelino had his worst game as a professional footballer last time he played against United. So,
short career he's had as well, isn't it? So we'll go for what we'll do is we'll start from the Rodri's obviously going to play, isn't he? So who did you say, Dan? Did you say Rodri?
I said Rodri, Bernardo, and De Bruyne.
Up front.
Sterling on the left, Jesus up the middle, and Mahrez on the right.
Yeah, we have to disagree with that. I think it'll be Sterling, Mahrez, and Sergio. What do you think, Dave? You can be the decider.
I think
he's not going to agree with me, is he?
No. I'm going by what I think, and I think Pep will play Aguero.
Yeah,
I really do.
£5 bet wager here.
There you go.
And Dave, are you going for Bernardo, De Bruyne, and Rodri?
Yes.
It's not a bad team, this, lads. I'd be happy if this came out. It won't, but I'd be happy with this.
It won't.
Who's the manager for today going to be?
Me.
In that case, we might as well go home now.
Oh, we'll put 3 at the back. It was me.
Yeah.
Absolutely smashing. 7-4 it'll end. Go for it. Yeah, I can't complain with that. Yeah, you've got Bravo in there, who I obviously don't want, but I think it will be. Walker, Nando, Otamendi, Mendy, Bernardo, Rodri, KDB. Hopefully KDB in a more advanced and Bernardo more defensive. Are we going with that? Yeah.
Agreed.
Sterling, Mahrez, Sergio up front.
I mean, that's a good team.
That's a good team. So we're gonna account for the hologram that is Bravo. So that's
Dan really wants Jesus in.
I don't really. Well, actually, I do, and I'll tell you why. You put Jesus in there doing a Sterling type thing like he did against Everton, running that defence ragged. Imagine the look on the defence of United when we bring Sergio Aguero on in the 60th minute or something like that. They wouldn't have a chance in hell.
It's a fair point, but you can't. I'm not for changing. Sorry.
No, I can see Guardiola playing Aguero. There's an inkling it would make more sense playing Jesus. I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, he's our record goal scorer, but I can just see Jesus making more of an impact at the start of a game than Aguero.
What, knacker him out and then bring on Sergio?
Well, maybe Jesus can have a Bravo type game in a world class, score a hat trick, make up for the one he missed the other day.
Yeah, didn't he miss a couple as well? Right, we're settling on that. I'm having no changes. We're settling on that. I'm going to put that on the Facebook page later.
All right.
Foden's on the bench then. It's disappointing, isn't it? It's got to be though, Annie. It's got to be.
Yeah.
At the moment, yes. But as you can see there, I mean, it's not up to us, but no mention of David Silva even being in that team. So that at least we're talking about Foden being, I wish we could fit him in. Not one of the three of us has said, well, what about Merlin? Yeah. I think we're all in agreement that, unfortunately, maybe his best days are behind him at City. And I do have this niggling feeling that he's got one eye on what he's doing next, because I keep reading he's either going to Japan or he's going to into Miami. But my understanding was that we were all okay about, or the City officials were okay with David Silva going because he was going back to his hometown club, Las Palmas.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be a little bit aggrieved if he leaves and goes to an Inter Miami or Japan, because that's very much about the money. And my thinking with Merlin was he was always about, I want to go back and play for my hometown club.
I get where you're coming from, but he has got a hometown club in Japan. Don't forget, his mum is Japanese, so there is that hometown thing about his mum's side of the family as well. So I kind of know where you're going with that with Inter Miami. Yeah, I completely get you where that is. But if he went to Japan, I won't blame him. But Las Palmas, yeah, I can see
it's
that.
It's just that he's been saying for years now that that's how he wants to finish his career. And surely he's not going to go and do 2 years in Japan or 2 years in MLS and then go to Las Palmas, because then he'll be, 36, 37?
Yeah, fair point. He wants to try and do something as well. Where are Las Palmas in the league? Are they even competing?
I think they're second division now.
Yeah, I believe they are, actually.
Right, okay, so they're right under. So he's obviously going there to see how he gets on.
The same was always said about Tevez, though, didn't he? As soon as he would leave, he would go back to Boca Juniors. I know he's at Boca Juniors now, but he's made a massive payday at Juventus, really, didn't he?
Yeah, fair point.
I think doubled his wages that City were paying him. And he was only there for a couple of seasons and got his money's worth and went back to Boca Juniors.
Yes.
But Tevez was a bit of a live wire compared to Silva. Silva's always been sort of a humble type guy. But
I was going to say, comparing the two sounds a bit. Yeah, I know where you're coming with that. But yeah, I'm done for United. I'm just bringing on now. What I'm pissed off about. Sorry for swearing. I'm gonna have to mute that. I'm going to do it again. Pissed off. 3,000 tickets. I really wanted to go tonight. And the worst thing is, I can get tickets in the home end, and I don't want to, but I can. That's so frustrating. Because it's just we should be allowed to have more tickets. It's ridiculous. 3,000 tickets for a derby is ridiculous. Yeah. Really annoying.
And really... I'm assuming that's what we've given them as well for the.
Bloody hope so.
For the second leg.
I hope
it is. Yeah, it's confirmed.
20 tickets come to sod off. No, it must be. It's got something to do with the police, hasn't it, and all the rest of it. But it's still, if United have to fill their ground, they can't come to us complaining about us filling our ground and they empty out and all that. Because I know my lot have all got tickets. I know tickets are going round for City at the moment, and they'll soon be sold out. Hopefully, it just frustrates me that 3,000 is a lot. Flip side, at the Etihad, I'd love them to have a full bank of United fans. The atmosphere would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. But we're not going to have that. It should be like a normal away match, which is a bit frustrating. What Port Vale brought was brilliant.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, it annoys me a little bit. Where were you when you were shit? And we were like, where were you last week? Because their average attendance is like 3,500, 4,000. Like ridiculous. And now you bring 8,000 to an away match. Brilliant. Well done, guys.
Yeah.
I don't blame them, obviously, but they can do what they want to do. But It's just a bit crass them singing that. Anyway, that's my rant over. Get it done with. I'll have to edit this, won't I?
Breathe. Come on.
I think we leave it at that, lads. Unless you've got anything else to add, I think we'll leave it at that. And I've got one question to leave with you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a bit of fun on the page of this. Where does Pablo Zabaleta rank amongst City's legends?
Right up there.
Just, yeah, if it was like that Olympic podium of gold, bronze, and silver medal, I think it would be Vinny top. I would arguably put Zaba in joint second place, really, with Aguero.
This is the last 10. Oh, yeah, what sort of gauge of reference we're using for years? Are we using like the last 5 years with that? Last 10 years? Last
10
decade?
years. Yeah, I would go last decade.
Yeah.
I mean, those three for me, and you throw in David Silva in there as well. We wouldn't have won half the stuff if it wasn't without those lads. Just without a doubt, they changed the whole outlook of the club.
So who have you got again? You got Zabaleta, Company, Silva, Sergio,
Joe Hart.
I mean, yeah, I kind of put Joe Hart's a City legend for me.
3 of those came even before the money. You know,
Yeah.
that shows how absolutely world class they were. You know, I think Vinny only cost about between 4
Vinny
and
was 6
million.
million.
Yeah,
From Hamburg, wasn't he? Yeah, and Zabaleta was almost
Zaba
nothing,
was 6 million as well from Espanyol.
Joe Hart was 650,000 from
That was some
Shrewsbury,
shrewd-
wasn't he? Yeah,
Brilliant.
that has got to be one of the best goalkeeping signings of arguably the modern era, hasn't he? You know, came with no reputation. I always remember that first game he took over from Shea Given against Spurs. Oh, it was Spurs against Hart, wasn't it? I remember that game like the back of my hand. It was an absolute fantastic game for Spurs, but also the fact that Joe Hart kept every single shot out. It was brilliant.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right, we'll leave it there. I'll put that question on the page with us doing the video of it. We'll see how that comes from that. And up the Blues. Let's have it, City. And do you know what? As long as we go for it, it's 100%. Absolutely go for it. Give it everything we've got. I will not argue one bit. I just want us to give it as best as we can. If we give it the best we can do, United are going to be absolutely petrified.
Yeah.
I just hope we can. Come on.
I'm confident, and you lads have a go at me all the time for being the typical City and
Well, you are.
the doomsday. I think we'll smash them. I really believe that we'll smash them. I think we've learned a valuable lesson playing against them the other week. Pep is not going to accept us playing like that again. I think we're going to batter them.
Oh, come on. Have we
6-1.
done score predictions before we go? Have we done short score predictions?
We did them last podcast, yeah.
Oh, what did you say, Dan?
6-1.
6-1.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm going all out. It's got to be. I completely agree with Dave. It's going to have to be a big scoreline, not just for the sake of the cup tie, just because it's time we got our own back against them last month, and we've got to go. We've got to do it. We've got to go all guns blazing.
Dave?
I am going to go for a City win. I think United will score, but I think it will be 2. I'm going to go 2-1 City. I just want something good to take back to Etihad, because I think if we get that positive result tomorrow, I really believe when we get them to the Etihad and we don't have any injuries or anything like that, that will absolutely hammer them.
Love it. Love the confidence, lads. Let's take that vibe into tomorrow night. Have a lovely evening. Have a good day, Dave. Enjoy work.
Thank you very much.
Come on, Blues. Come on, Blues.
All right. See you later, lads.
Best boys.
Until we die.
Take care.
See you later.
Indeed.